In the middle of the great garbage dump of the pandemic, when studios were flushing poke down the OTT drain, yeah, I'm looking at you, Black Widow, came out half a film, which was
Great.
Yeah. Okay, I get the point. But still, it was just half a film. In a galaxy far, far away, and also a future far, far away, to be exact 10,191 AG, but when is AG? At around 10,000 AD, are you sure? Nah, I'm not. There are more than 20 books on this universe written by different writers. Let's not get into the inconsistencies. Just settle on 20,000 years into the future. A future under imperial rule. A future where spaceships are run on Spaihts. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. So this Tatooine with 2 moons and spice in the air is called planet Arrakis. It is colonized by the East India Company of the Space by the order of the British Empire of the Space for the exact same reason India was colonized. Spices. The only difference being that instead of preserving meat, the spice here is used as some kind of fuel for the interstellar travel. And don't ask me how that works.
I have so many questions!
So this East India Company of the future is known as House Harkonnen. It is led by Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, who kinda looks like an illegitimate son of Princess Leia and Jabba the Hutt.
I love you.
I know.
So Harkonnen is the wealthiest house in this universe, as they have been in control of the harvesting of the most valuable substance in this universe for the last 80 years. But the Emperor is
A jealous man. A dangerous, jealous man.
So he sets the house with the mightiest military against the Harkonnens. How, you may ask? By asking Harkonnens to fuck off from the desert planet they ruled for 80 years and gifting the empire they built to the good Nazis of space, House Atreides. And this pisses off Bautista.
How can the Emperor take everything we've built and give it to that Duke?
But he calms down as soon as Vladimir says,
When is a gift not a gift?
I don't know, maybe when you receive a cash gift of 1100 at your wedding from a family of 10 and all 10 of them attend the dinner that cost you 1100 per plate. But on a serious note, Vladimir here meant that the Emperor is setting 2 strong houses, Atreides and Harkonnen, against each other to weaken both the houses. And somehow this sounds familiar. Moving forward, the Prince of House Atreides, Paul, is our hero. He's also force sensitive, or more like voice sensitive in this universe.
Give me a water.
You know, like Jedis from the Star Wars? I'll tell you the difference. So suppose if in Phantom Menace Obi-Wan would have used voice instead of force, the scene would have played out something like this.
Slice yourself and fall into the pit.
So convenient, right? But not so cinematic. Imagine Obi, Maul and Qui-Gon screaming at each other in a voice battle for the final showdown. Nah. By the way, Star Wars was a Dune ripoff and it pissed off Frank Herbert, the writer of the original 6 books, so much that he almost sued George Lucas. Coming back to the Paul, before leaving for Arrakis, he goes through a trial because he's the only man in this universe to possess the power of voice. And the head of the Space Witch cult / Lady Voice Jedi / OP Sisterhood of this universe wants to make sure if this man can handle that kind of power.
Get over here!
The power of making someone do anything just by using their voice. The power that could be possessed only by the women of this universe.
Get over here!
That's overpowered. But our hero passes the trial and his life is spared. Still, the head witch is mad at his mum, who is also a witch Jedi, for teaching Paul, her son, the sacred art of using voice. Although reluctantly, but then the sisterhood has designed a plan to pose this mother-son duo as heroes of a prophecy. So basically, Paul is a space Jesus who will arrive on the desert planet as a messiah to the locals who are called Fremen, who are also freemen, like not part of any house or empire. You know, Fremen, Freemen. And now, by the design of the sisterhood, Paul will use their religion to rule over them. Why does this sound so familiar?
I can explain.
The Empire decides to make the company forego the planet of the spices in order to have direct control through divide and rule policy, and then ultimately make way for another entity to rule them that uses religion as a weapon to rule. Oh, now I get it. Because that's our reality. So the Mother Witch, Daddy Good Hitler and voice-sensitive Jedi reach the desert planet Arrakis, with Thanos on their side who smiles with a poker face.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling.
No, you're not. You smile later in the film and that's not how you smile. Although that was a badass intro. And as these people land, Fremens go ape shit on the arrival of their space Jesus. You freaked them out. What if that guard had panicked and stabbed you? So now the fort belongs to Atreides, but Harkonnens have a surprise for them. They strategically plant an assassin in this fort. Just one assassin, to kill Paul. And Harkonnens' lack of commitment now baffles me.
My desert. My Arrakis. My Dune.
Listen, Hutt Jr., I see you make tall claims, but then you don't plan to assassinate all the family members of House Atreides at the same time. That's not just lazy. That's stupid. Don't tell me you planted a single assassin in this huge-ass fort and his plan was to attack one member at a time with a mechanical bee by making it bust through the complicated network of water pipes to travel from one point to another. Dune is such a stupid... Great. Yeah, okay, it's a great film. But anyways, in that assassination attempt, we find out that our space Jesus is not just a voice Jedi, but also as quick as Flash. Next, they find out that the harvesting machines Harkonnens left behind for them are in poor condition, and this situation can get worse if the local Fremen keep attacking their machines. Well, because Harkonnens have been dicks to Fremens for 80 years. So good Hitler tries to befriend Fremens, the weird Fremens, who spit at you to show respect and kiss you before stabbing. They also have a weird blue eyes. They talk weird, they dress weird with a weird groin guard, and it's the same for the ladies. But then Fremens turn out to be good weirdos, and their leader agrees to good Hitler. But how? Because the deal was mediated by the always happy high bear-hugging Jason Momoa.
I love my life!
Who somehow manages to play himself in every film. But just for clarity's sake, here he plays Duncan, an accomplished pilot/soldier in Atreides' army. He's also Paul's trainer and a big brother/friend kind of figure. And he's about to die, which Paul foresees in his dreams. Oh man, I totally forgot. Not just that Paul can voice force and pull flash moves, he can also foresee the future. And he keeps getting wet dreams of blue-eyed Zendaya. You horny son of a witch. The next day, Daddy Hitler, Space Jesus and Poker-Face Thanos suit up in special Fremen-made desert suits equipped with internal air conditioning, automatic hydration, and groin guards. All of this because the temperature of this planet rises up to 150 degrees Celsius in the daytime. And I have no clue why they don't just work at night. Considering the harsh conditions of this planet, won't that make sense? I hope there's an explanation to this in the books. Anyways, they head for a day trip to spice harvesting in their dragonfly planes. Oh, by the way, they have ships and planes in all shapes and sizes. Dragonfly, dagger, slab, egg, dildo and used condom. At the harvesting site, first they find out that Harkonnens' harvesting machines are complete trash. And then they find out that Paul gets really high on spice really quickly. And he is pervert enough to start fantasizing about Zendaya anytime, anywhere. Like even under a scorching sun which is frying him at 150 degrees Celsius. But on the brighter side, brighter than 150 degrees, they get to witness the legendary Uber of the planet. A huge ass worm used by Fremens to travel through the desert. Quite literally, it's a huge ass worm, like worm with a huge ass. That's a big hairy hole right there. But instead of dumping, it sucks in all the shit. Like that shitty harvesting machine. I wish it could suck in the entire Marvel Phase 4.
You piece of shit!
It also possesses a rare skill of fart laughing in your face. See? By the way, those butt hairs are hard, sharp and pointy and used as sacred weapons by the Fremens.
Tooth of Shai.
No, that's not a tooth, that's a butt hair. And now I have established it. Moving forward, Harkonnen joins forces with the Emperor to attack Atreides. Wait, what? But why? If the plan was to join forces and wipe off House Atreides, then why didn't they just attack Atreides on their own planet? Well, because Atreides have strong forces and it was impossible to beat them on their home ground. But then the Emperor's initial plan was to weaken House Harkonnen as well. If the Emperor helps the Harkonnens by sending his battalions along, this battle won't weaken the Harkonnens to that degree. And what about the Fremens? Striking a peace agreement with the Fremens was also one of the reasons why the Emperor deployed House Atreides to Arrakis.
The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis. House Atreides accepts!
Why the fuck will Fremens continue their peace agreement after Atreides are replaced by Harkonnens who have been fucking them up for the last 80 years? Why is the Emperor so
Great.
Why is Dune such a
I can explain.
It's a great film because, surprise, surprise, the Emperor is not stupid. He is
A dangerous, jealous man.
You see, many houses were beginning to look at House Atreides as their new leader. If Harkonnens and the Empire would have attacked Atreides in their home planet, the information would have spread and led to revolt by the great houses. But there were no surveillance satellites over Arrakis, and Atreides was sent to strike a peace agreement with the Fremens, a peace agreement in which the Emperor was not even interested to begin with. The plan was to wipe off House Atreides on Arrakis, and as there's no surveillance there, no other house would have come to know about the truth, and the blame could be put on Fremens. So yes, Dune is indeed a
Great
film, but still it is half a film. So Atreides are attacked at night with the help of their family doctor. He brings down the fourth shield from within and assassinates Daddy Hitler. But then he's also loyal to House Atreides as the poor doctor was blackmailed into betraying them by Vladimir. So he equips dying Hitler with a deadly weapon to give him one last chance to have his revenge. And this weapon is bad breath. They try to kill Vladimir with bad breath. But Vladimir is a filthy son of a hut, and bad breath can do no harm to him. And of course, because at some point in his life he gobbled up both Spider-Man and Superman together, he flies to the ceiling and clings himself up there till the help arrives. Earlier during the attack, Poker Face gets into the battle, leading his men, never to be seen again in the film. And Momoa, who is about to die, escapes looking for Paul. And Paul and his mom are not killed immediately as Vladimir promised the head of the Space Witch cult, everybody seems to be scared of, that he won't kill the duo.
I give you my word. We will not harm them.
At least not directly, but you see, the desert can. So his plan is to transport them in the middle of the desert and leave them there to die. But the mother-son duo are badass and they use their voice force on these dickheads and escape their death. The plane gets jammed, their base is destroyed, and now they are stuck in the middle of the desert. But with the help of a special tent and a couple of wet dreams, they survive the next day. And then Momoa, who is about to die, finds them and takes them to the Fremen base when he reveals this.
Harkonnens hit every population center on the planet at once.
You what?
Harkonnens hit every population center on the planet at once. And earlier they didn't plan to assassinate every Atreides family member at once. Why, Vladimir? Why? Baron Vladimir Harkonnen is such a
great
villain. Now at the Fremen base, our Space Jesus / Voice Jedi / Fastest Man / Foreseer / Wet Dreamer Paul persuades heart to this Fremen woman who works for the Empire to bear witness against the Emperor and tell the truth to all the great houses to invoke revolt against the Empire. He persuades her so hard that he discovers his new power, mind reading.
I know you loved a Fremen warrior and lost him in battle. I know you walk in two worlds and are known by many names.
I know you. You know you. And I know you know that I know you.
And now he's also Professor X. Man, his powers are limitless. At the base, just when they were having a good time persuading each other, brainstorming on the perfect plan to bring the Empire down, they are found by the Empire and attacked again. And finally, we come to the point when one of Paul's wet dreams come true. Momoa's death. But before dying, he buys enough time for Mom, Paul and the Fremen woman to escape. He could have sneakily killed them, at least the first two. But that's just Momoa being Momoa.
I love my life!
Anyways, while escaping, the Fremen woman has a change of heart and she agrees to stand witness against the Emperor, only to get killed in the very next scene. That was unfortunate, but on the brighter side, brighter than 150 degrees, she ended up becoming a snack of her master, Shai Hulud, the huge ass worm, or the worm with the huge asshole. Meanwhile, the Voice Jedi Mum and overpowered Space Jesus escape in the Dragonfly plane. But they soon find Imperial soldiers on their tail, and they launch missiles at them.
You what?
I give you my word. We will not harm them.
My lord, you gave your word to the witch. She sees too much.
I said I would not harm them, and I shall not. But Arrakis is Arrakis, and the desert takes the weak.
Why would you do that? Don't you remember that filthy Vladimir gave his word to the head witch? You are not supposed to kill them directly. Oh, but these are not Harkonnen soldiers. They are from the Imperial Battalion. So what? Earlier in the film, Imperial soldiers were part of the siege as well. If that was the case, then Harkonnens could have simply handed over the duo to the Imperial soldiers the same night and put the blame on them. Mission accomplished. Dune Part 1 is such a great film. Anyways, they head straight into the storm with winds blowing at
800 kilometers an hour.
which neutralizes the missiles. And in this panic situation, Paul starts dreaming again, daydreaming this time. And he finds a way out through a word of advice from a never-before-seen random dude in his dream. I mean, what? What are your powers exactly? Now I'm beginning to feel your powers are being used for plot convenience. You keep unlocking new abilities every second scene. How do you do that? This film is such a
Great.
No. It's just a good film. Just a good film. Like slightly above the above average film. But hey, what if I told you that Paul wasn't daydreaming? He remembered his dream from the past and acted accordingly. Why is it so difficult for you to understand that his dreams are key to everything? Oh, okay. Alright. It is a
Great.
film. Now let's move on. Oh, the hot dog fingers universe. Ha! Now we know in which everything everywhere all at once reality Dune is set. Anyways, Harkonnens assume the divine duo is dead and they move on with their usual business in Arrakis. That is harvesting spice, hoarding wealth, killing Fremens and taking oil baths. But on the other end of the desert, Paul follows the voices in his head and visuals from his dreams as the mom-son duo dance their way to the Fremen base. It's called a sandwalk. Yeah, same, it's like the cousin of moonwalk. Because apparently bad dancing doesn't attract Shai Hulud. But then they do encounter its huge ass later in this journey and it fart laughs in Paul's face and leaves. And when they reach Fremens, instead of showing hospitality, Fremens are only interested in the water content of their bodies. You see, water is the most precious substance to Fremens. And they're also skeptical about Paul being the space Jesus from the prophecy. Yet, they agree to give him a chance, but not his mom. They decide to squeeze her dry. But you see, the witch mom is badass and she beats the shit out of Fremen leader in a hand-to-hand combat.
You what?
They fight like demons. There's no finer fighter in the Imperium. I've never come so close to dying.
Desert power.
How the fuck did she do that? Earlier in the film, this is how Duncan described Fremens.
I've never come so close to dying.
Duncan was one of the best Atreides soldiers. He was Paul's trainer. He nearly died fighting a random Fremen warrior and she beats the leader of these finest fighters of the universe. She didn't even use her voice on him. How the fuck did she beat him?
Girls rule, boys drool.
Alright, so girl power trumps.
Desert power.
Is that so? Dune, you are such a...
Great.
No, it's not. Hey, calm down. Don't tell me you didn't notice her getting really close to his head and murmuring something. Oh, so you are saying she used voice? Maybe she did. Even if she did, that was after the fight got over. Maybe she used her voice earlier as well and her plan was to put up a show to pose herself as a fierce warrior. Okay, that makes sense, but then why am I left to assume these details? Because the film respects your intelligence? That's bullshit. But anyways, let's get done with this. Soon after the witchworm defeats the leader, our hero finally sees her in person. The woman of her dreams. Zendaya. Her name is Chani. Yeah, Chani. Chani it is. And I don't know if it's the actor or the character. Why doesn't our hero expresses anything? Because it's not a Bollywood film, for fuck's sake. What were you expecting, a dance number? I can't help, I'm programmed that way. So Paul finally meets Chani. And now that looks like a happy ending, but no. This random dick who is also from Hero's Dream, Jamis, he challenges Witch Mum for the position of the leader. But why? Because she just defeated the leader. And Fremens are led by the strongest. That's the way of the desert. So now technically Witch Mum is their leader. But a man is not allowed to challenge a woman for a duel. Although it's totally okay for a man to kill and squeeze a woman dry.
The ways of the desert.
So Paul steps forward as a mum's champion. Chani hands Paul her great aunt's butt hair. I mean, not literally her aunt's butt hair. That would be really small. I meant Shai Hulud's butt hair that belonged to her aunt.
It's made from a tooth of Shai Hulud.
No, that's butt hair, okay? I have established it, alright? And then the fight begins. Paul defeats Jamis 3 times and asks him to yield every time. But that's not an option. It's a duel to the death because...
The ways of the desert.
The problem here is that Paul has never killed a man before. And then he unlocks yet another ability of summoning evil voices in his head and finally kills Jamis. Just like that? What happened to Duncan's claim of Fremens being the finest fighters and Duncan was almost killed by one of the... Oh, shut up. I'll explain how Paul did it. You didn't notice, just before the fight began, Paul was in the corner foreseeing the possible outcomes of the duel and he acted accordingly. Oh, for fuck's sake, now he has powers of Doctor Strange? Fuck me. So now it ends, right? Not really. Chani welcomes Paul to the group and tells...
This is only the beginning.
No, it's the middle. It is the exact midpoint of the hero's journey. Right at the death and rebirth point. Paul went through the call to adventure, meeting a mentor, crossing threshold, trials and failure, and help from the helpers. And with his first kill, the old Paul dies, giving way to the new one who decides not to leave Arrakis but to fight for them. The rebirth.
This is only the beginning.
Yeah, this is the beginning, but the beginning of our hero running the story by his active decisions rather than passively following the plot of the film.
My road leads into the desert. We will come.
And in most of the films, this transformation happens at around the midpoint. But Dune Part 1 is not just another film. Because Dune Part 1 is a...
Great.
Yeah, it's a great film. But then again, it's half a film. Oh, finally we get to see a random Fremen riding the large intestine.